I think there's 8 habits of highly healthy people. Right? I think that's what I would come down on. I say if you're maximizing these areas, even if you felt great, let's say you're young, you could pretty much eat sawdust and still do okay, right? You want to watch out for these areas to make sure that you're preserving your health for when you're older. Number 1, eat healthy. And when I say eat healthy, it doesn't mean just force yourself to count calories and force yourself to portion control and eat, even though you want more, you can't, you have to stop yourself. I would say those aren't healthy diets, right? If you have to stop, hey, I would like another piece of that, but I can't because I'm going to get fat, I would say you're not on a healthy diet then, right? And then look at this type of, you can still have pizza, right? It's a whole foods, plant-based diet. We all know the answer there. I was going to do a talk about showing you some great studies, about some medical information, some nutrition information. I said, do we need more studies? People know this is what you should be eating. People know this is what you should be doing. Why aren't we doing it? Why can't we get more people to do it? So that's why I sort of changed over. Who wants to look at more studies right now? Be active. Look at that. Now I have made it I'll talk about this a little bit later, but I've made it my mission to improve 2 areas of the 8 that I haven't been focused on, and part of them is yoga. So I made a ritual where I'm going to do yoga once a week, no matter what, and I'm going to make sure, that's one of my rituals, and I'll talk about rituals in a little bit later. But look at this, I can't do this. You should see me. My wife does it with me. She laughs at me half the time, and she's not trying to laugh at me. It's just all the noises I'm making because it hurts so much. Right? But it's just fun. You got to get it in. Be active. And active, by the way, we talk about, it's cardiovascular, it's balance, it's flexibility, it's resistance training, it's, the impact exercises. So I include a couple of things in there. Enjoy the sun a little bit. Don't get burnt. Everybody's afraid of the sun. Sun is good for you. Too much sun is bad for you, just like too much of anything else. Reduce medications and reverse disease. Medications are not good for you. People that are managing disease with medications are not making you healthier. People that are preventing disease with medications, a lot of preventive programs are about controlling your blood, getting your blood pressure under control. That's not making you healthier. Blood pressure medication doesn't make you healthier. My goal is to get you off medications and reverse disease. That should be one of your goals. Engage in positive social behaviors. Are you stimulating yourself? Are you numbing yourself with alcohol? Are you stimulating yourself in the morning with caffeine? Are you cashing out with other drugs? Are you smoking because you think it lowers your stress levels? Be aware of that stuff. You want positive social behaviors. If you're not sure if it's positive or not, question if you would wish it on your children. If you want your children to do that, it's more likely to be a positive social behavior. If you would not recommend your children do it, especially the little ones, it's probably not a positive social behavior. Sleep and restore. This is a good one, right? Because a lot of people take pills to sleep. I would argue that's not meeting this habit. That's not meeting health here. What you need to do is be able to sleep through the night and wake up in the morning feeling restored. And if you say, I sleep 8 hours, but I wake up, I'm exhausted, and I need coffee, I would say we're not quite there yet. We got to work on this. And all these are areas that we work on with patients, right? We got to get all these optimized, not just the diet, but the diet is probably the most important. So sleep well, feel restored in the morning. Seek joy and balance. So, smile. I think meditation is the other area that I have had the hardest time getting myself to meditate. I could think of so many better things that I have to do in my mind than meditate. For years I've been trying to do it. I finally cracked the code for myself, and I'm doing it regularly. And I think it's something that's important. A lot of people might think it's not mainstream, although today I'd argue it probably is. And I think it's really important. I think work-life balance is a huge problem in our society. And I know a lot of people that have a lot of quote-unquote medical issues, but they're mostly connected to a deficiency in this area. Work-life balance and stress reduction. And I got serious about it when I took a personality, one of these type of assessments, and I really did well, except my biggest weakness was I got stressed achievement. So I was achieving, but I was stressed. I was doing it with a level of stress, and that's not healthy, right? And you want to get what they call poised achievement. And I said, okay, now I have a target, I have a goal. When I have a goal, that helps me, I shoot for it. So I think people can use these different habits to say, okay, what areas do I want to target? And you want to be careful not to overwhelm yourself. We'll talk about that in a little bit too. And then community. Community is important. In fact, I think those studies that look at alcohol and they say that moderate drinking is helpful, I think they do two things. I think one, they select moderate people. They're probably eating moderately, because it's not randomizing people to different amounts of alcohol. It's looking at people who happen to drink moderately and saying, oh, these people are healthier. I think also when you don't overdo it, not only are you a moderate person, but going out for a drink with them, you usually do that with a group of people, and I think you enhance your community here. So you could probably do it with water too, right? If you didn't want to use alcohol. I'm not saying you have to drink to build your community, but I think that there's a real benefit there, and it's often overlooked. And then minimize deprivation. This is important because a lot of people can do a lot of those other things, but only for a period of time. And if you assess your deprivation level, if you assess how much willpower you're using to do those other areas, you can say, well, this is not sustainable long term. Deprivation level has to be low for you to sustain something long term. And if you're honest with yourself and you really say, well, am I feeling pretty deprived? Yes, I am. Okay, let's go. Now I'm going to talk about reflecting and looking inside and saying, what's going on? Don't just be someone that bounces around like a pinball following different urges. I'm just eating this because I feel like it. I just stopped at that restaurant because I felt like it. Well, what's going on? Why did you pass that fast food restaurant 10 times, 10 days in a row, and on the 11th day, you went in? It was the same food, same restaurant. What was different in your environment that caused you to go down that route? So how do we live those habits in a way that feels great? Because that's important, right? You got to feel good about this. You can't just be, oh, God, I got to do these, I got to exercise, right? You got to somehow make it feel good. You got to do things for the positive reason. And what I would say is that the people that want to do two things, there's people that haven't heard about this program at all, and they want us to jump in. How can we help them achieve these areas and start looking at it? And then there's people that are doing it, but they'd like to take it to the next level. So decide who you are, decide who your friends and family are that you're talking to, and based on that, you might be able to figure out what direction you should be going and how the conversation should follow. And I talk about, there's lots of needs that motivate us. And what's nice about talking about needs instead of behavior strategies is that needs are universal. Everybody has the same needs. Everybody here has a need for health and ease and pleasure and acceptance and autonomy. But we all have different ways. We have different ways of meeting those needs. We have different behavior strategies we use to meet those needs. And we all have different priorities. For some people, health is more important, right? Someone that just went to the doctor and was diagnosed with cancer or heart disease, and their chest was about to be cracked open. Health became their most important need, and they would do just about anything, and they get scared into following and meeting this need, right? They say, I'm going to die if I don't do X, Y, and Z. You'll do X, Y, and Z. Fear is a great motivator, but it doesn't sustain you long term. So what I define health as is I say, hey, I want someone that says, I want to stop going to the doctor, I want to get off my meds, I want to feel great. And who wouldn't want that, right? Everybody in this room wants that. Everybody you know wants that. Why don't they do what we know will lead them to that? Because they think that they don't know this, they couldn't verbalize it, but subconsciously they're worried that these other needs are not going to be met. Pleasure, ease, acceptance, autonomy. And that's what forces them away. If you could tell them, hey, I'm going to make this lasagna. It's going to taste just as good as your lasagna you're used to, that you love. It'll taste the exact same amount of pleasure. I'm going to follow you around all day with a tray of lasagna so that you can eat it whenever you're hungry. And I'm going to make it for you, and that's it. Who wouldn't eat that food, right? And if you eat that food, you'll feel great, you'll get off your meds. Everybody would say yes. Right? So the question is, how close can we meet all these other needs? So ease. It's too much work to eat healthy. You want me to cook what? I remember when I first started, I was a fast food guy. I ate a lot of fast food, and I tried to do this plant-based diet. I ate rice and beans for about a week, and I said, not only do I feel great, but I can't live off of rice and beans. I'm going to go nuts. So I went and I got a vegan cookbook, and I tried making this French toast. It took me 6 hours to find all the ingredients and to cook this stuff, but it tasted great, right? So I remember thinking to myself, well, I like French toast, but I don't want to take 6 hours to do this every day. But the point was, some people think you can't ever have French toast again. That was my initial thing. And if someone told me you got to be healthy, you got to eat rice and beans and only rice and beans, that's a dilemma, right? Because the only strategy to be healthy is to eat rice and beans, you're in trouble. Pleasure. This is important. Food's got to taste great.